Hey folks, welcome to the Air Shootist channel, where today I'm extremely excited to give you guys a first look at the DNT Optics ThermNight TNC225R day, night, and thermal scope. So as you can see here, this is freshly sealed in the packaging. I have thus far resisted the very strong temptation to open this up and take a look, just so that we can go ahead and unbox this together and take a look together for the first time on the channel. So I am not an expert in this scope. As you can see, it is freshly sealed in the package, so I have not played with it yet, but we're going to take a quick look at it. And what this essentially is the evolution of the Arken Zulus scope. So I did review the Arken Zulus earlier on the channel and found it to be a really good deal in terms of price. The optical clarity is really good, and the absolute slew of features it has is really outstanding. So this adds on to that, where now we're throwing thermal into the mix. So you've got daytime optics, you've got IR assisted nighttime viewing, and you also have thermal. So what that basically means is you become the predator. Nothing can hide from you at all, ever. So from day to night to any time in between, this thing's got you covered. And I should probably get into a little bit, because I know I'm going to get questions about this. What is the deal with Arken versus DNT? And as I understand it, and I'm not saying this is 100% accurate, but as I understand it, DNT is sort of the brainchild who came up with the Arken Zulus. And I believe that was either licensed or something to Arken as part of their branding. And at this point, Arken is going back to focusing on their glass optics. So they will not be doing the Zulus anymore. So you'll see the Zulus now marketed as the DNT Zulus. So that's the backstory as far as I know it. I was a little bit curious about that myself, but that's as much as I know. So anyway, this thing is going to have a thermal imager on it. It's a 256 by 192, I believe. So that is comparable to a lot of the thermal scopes that you see. I think that's the same imager that I'm using on my ATN Thor 4, and I'm hoping to replace that scope with this, because this is going to be a lot better form factor, especially on my FX Panthera, where with the ATN scope, I'm having to use a cantilever mount on it, and because of the height, I'm only able to use the 8-round 30 caliber mini mags on it instead of the full 13-round larger mags. So with this, since it's back a little bit and won't impede my slot for my magazine, I'll be able to use the full size magazines in that gun. But anyway, let's go ahead and open this. We'll see what's inside and take a good first look at it. I've been waiting for this for a little while. So let's open this thing up. First thing I noticed about it is it does have really nice packaging, same as the Arken Zulus, really nice packaging. It also comes with, this should be the charger. Okay, so we've got the charger, a USB cable, and 2 of the 18650 batteries. Okay, so that's what the additional little box is. But now for the main show here. All right, so we've got, wow, really nice packaging, actually. One device, endless possibilities. Based on the feature set of this thing, I think that's going to probably hold true. Okay, so we've got a manual. Looks like it's a nice color manual. Very thorough and cool. Look at, there's some of the picture-in-picture that you can do with this thing. So imagine having thermal, but then you've also got night vision in the little picture-in-picture, or reverse. You've got night vision and then thermal in the picture-in-picture. That is fantastic. All right, what is this? Okay, little chamois lens cloth in there for you. Wow, and I'm just really impressed by the packaging, honestly. I know that's like a moot point for a lot of you, but I really appreciate nice packaging. Okay, here is the unit itself. Very nice. Okay, so we've got the rangefinder like it did have on the Zulus. We've got the IR like it did have on the Zulus. And then I believe this is the thermal imager on top. So the form factor is very similar to the Arken Zulus. And in fact, I actually have the Arken Zulus that we reviewed on the channel before right here. So let's just go ahead and take a look. Here's the Zulus with the mount. Now, I haven't even got into the full unboxing, but the mount and the eyepiece is in there. But let's have a look here. So there's both units. Very similar in size. Okay, but we can see here we get the thermal imager on the top. So there's your comparison right there. And again, we thought this was a really nice optic on the channel. And I'm going to be actually doing a review on another rifle, which we're going to use that for recording on that review because it does have such a nice optical quality and it makes it easier than using like a side mounted scope cam. But anyway, back to this. So there's the unit. We also in the box get the eyepiece, which just simply screws on to the optic as such. We've got the very familiar layout of buttons that we saw on the Zulus. And actually, as I'm looking at this, I think it actually might be, this might be the thermal imager on it. It looks like this is maybe the optical. So as I get used to it, I'll have to figure more of that out. But again, just a first look. So I'm not any expert on this at this point yet, but I will be. And this must be the mount. So I think it's going to come with the 0 MOA mount. Yep, 0 MOA. And it does actually have the torque spec on it, which is 30 inch-pounds. So nice that they include that. You've got some Allen keys and the actual Allen screws that mount it onto the bottom there. So you get that. And then looks like we have a USB-C charging cable in the box too there. So there's your first look at the DNT TNC225R ThermNight day, night, and thermal scope. And I am really, really excited to use this. You've got a slew of features here. And as I understand, they actually updated the app, which I think is backwards compatible with the Zulus. So if you, instead of using the 2 Arken apps that they had with it, you can now just use the 1 DNT app. And I believe they've done a little bit of housekeeping there where you get multiple ballistic profiles that you can send over to it and things like that. So just makes it a little bit more user-friendly, which is cool. So I love the fact that this thing has the rangefinder and you can simply just range a target and then it's immediately going to tell you exactly your hold. So a lot of technology packed into this scope, and it'll zoom up to 20 times, which is pretty good. And if you go and watch my Arken Zulus video, we do test it at the full zoom and it's pretty good. So I'm very, very excited to get this mounted on my FX Panthera Hunter Compact 30 caliber and immediately start getting used to it. So stay tuned, guys, because once I do finish getting used to this thing and have it mounted, we're going to do a full review on this scope, just like we did with the Arken Zulus. And that's going to be, I think, part 3 of my Are You Afraid of the Dark series, where I completely rip off the entire intro to Nickelodeon's classic 90s show, Are You Afraid of the Dark? And then we get into the actual review. So that'll be next. And as far as today goes, thanks for tuning into this video, guys. I hope you're as excited as I am to see this in the field. And stay tuned for that, because that's coming next. Peace.